No.
You can keep official minutes and for an unofficial meeting. For an open discussion. Otherwise, Kim and I would be hanging out at a bar and just chatting.
Yeah, right.
You know, some of those folks over in Carrollton just don't like regulations of any kind. So there are probably some people here who feel that way about the farming regulation.
We were just talking about hanging out at a bar and I said, you bring your own bottle.
Yeah, but it's only,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
Well, hello, I'm Pat Reynolds. Hi, Brett. Here as a resident.
Okay. I'm Evan Carpenter. This is
Doug Anzac.
what we have of our committee here. Yes,
I can join you.
we're gonna be a little bit short on official committee peoples here tonight.
Okay, are you looking for another member?
No, we just happened to. Several things came up at the last minute. And
Breakdown, frost.
Oh, yeah, it got cold quick.
typical things.
Be really cold tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Below 30.
You're saying it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about time, but
Yeah,
Yes, Joyce, hope you can go another week.
Okay, torn out, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she torn out.
It depends on how cold it gets.
Mhm.
So we have a day or two if it really gets it, but this keeps nipping us.
Well, the zoning advisory group sort of kicked this down the road. They weren't sure whether it really belonged in the
Yeah, it's wasn't about that.
state or not, and
So I was at that meeting. And it came up in the last 10 minutes of over a 2-hour meeting, so I just don't think they would just.
but I think I've been thinking about this over the last week, and I'm wondering whether we should consider if we do need a new law or not
Mhm.
about livestock confinement. And I say this because of something that Craig Anderson brought up at the meeting last week. He said 301 and 305, the ag and markets laws cover it. And they really don't cover confinement, but they do cover the definition of a farm from the viewpoint of taxes.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah, but that's,
So, but that's, anyway, that could be a definition of a farm. And then this 373 or section 26 of the animals law covers stray animals.
yeah,
And it's pretty similar to the animal confinement law.
but that's one of the ones I didn't read all the ones that you said, but
Right.
it was more of animal welfare type thing.
Yeah. It's animal
So that we're back to, it does nothing for these people that think their animals can just wander around.
But it says seizure of animals lost, strayed, homeless, abandoned, or improperly confined together. It does say lost or strayed, and strayed is what this would be. But you're right, it's mostly for companion animals and not livestock. But if that means we have to think about making a new law.
Right.
So,
And
And the law has to be enforceable.
right,
Right, and if it's gonna be enforceable, who's gonna be the one to gather up the stray animals?
Right.
I think that's a big question.
That's the biggest challenge.
we talked about that last time, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Because the dog warden doesn't have the capability of gathering up a couple of Texas Longhorns that are wandering around.
Or even the sheriff, or
Right.
they don't have that
Mhm.
capability.
Yes,
Mhm.
CA.
Mhm.
so we gotta hire a cowboy.
Well, you might have to have a cowboy on staff.
On staff, oh boy, would that be fun?
Another
Also
problem,
get a hat.
another problem is that we're dealing with a very rare event.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen often, so. It's almost like keeping the Tompkins County Airport open and having those air traffic controllers there all day for 4 flights.
Yeah,
hardly worth it. So we can't afford to have a cowboy on staff.
People would volunteer. Just for the prestige of it. and-
Yeah.
When needed,
when needed. Yeah.
right?
Like a perk for somebody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Another issue that brought people out on Thursday night was the fact that the original draft of the law that we had discussed in September was sort of published and put out with the notice of that meeting. Any edits that we'd suggested hadn't been incorporated yet. So it's probably the onus is on us to make those edits and make a new draft if we're gonna
Right.
go that route.
They did go over our minutes prior to it and kind of lighting the margins a little bit, some of our, you know.
Yep.
Suggestions that we had of changing it, but everything did not get deleted out that we originally had proposed to get completely whited out. A lot of the areas where zoning comes in would be in the writing of the difference in style of fencing for a suburban area around somebody's house and their peonies, and that of a farm where the fence is gonna be on the borderline and it, you know, depending on the type of animals you have, is gonna make a difference in the type of fencing that's gonna be required to keep them in. If you've got, you know, Muscovy ducks that are gonna fly, you're gonna need something much higher. If you have Aeroconic hens that are gonna flutter up, you know, 12 feet in the air, you're gonna
Yeah.
be something other than, you know, Jersey reds that are, you know, gonna stay on the ground.
Yeah.
But that's just a.
That's
You got animals,
Basically, they
basic,
can't-
figure it out.
right.
Yes,
They've got
exactly.
they've got to understand what they've got and how to contain them. And so a law on books isn't going to cover, you know, if you get to specifics of, you know, so many feet from the property line and that sort of stuff, and so high and et cetera, isn't gonna work. It needs to be at the discretion of the farmer as to what works for their specific livestock.
Is that really what this, I didn't read all the zoning, so they dictate how high a fence you can have?
Some of the zoning, yes. Rules and regs. And it is setbacks and that sort of
Right,
thing,
there's setbacks.
where with. You know, most farm, it's on the boundary line.
No, he just about always on.
Mhm.
I think the other issue is neighborhood residential versus rural residential versus rural agriculture. You have smaller lots, you only have about 2 acres, and somebody comes in and they want to put a farm on this 2 acres. They hardly have any pasture. They want to be a hobby farmer, but they really don't get it, that when they're gonna have a herd of goats. It's an animal welfare issue, that these animals can't roam and have a nice clean pasture. That's where I'm coming from too. It doesn't belong in an NR district. It should be 4 or 5 acres or more, so that this can be rotated on different pastures,
My
right?
understanding, the person though that we're dealing with does have about 4 acres.
You can't,
But the lot is 2 acres wooded and only 2 acres left. And there's a house on there and he's built a barn and he's got all sorts of structures. And he's had to cordon off his goats from the pig, from his dogs, and there's really very little land for these animals to move around. So if one of them gets disease, they're all gonna get it. It is really an animal, in my opinion, and that and the chickens with a rooster in a neighborhood, it's not very compatible.
Haven't been to Hawaii, have you? There's chickens running all over and the roosters are crowing and
I've not been to Hawaii, that's on my list.
They
I
have-
haven't get there.
right in the city, they have chickens
But
everywhere.
if you buy a house where there's chickens, you're gonna be. That's normal.
Those chickens are just feral, they just run wherever they wanna go.
Right? But we don't have that drive, we can have feral chickens, I suppose.
Wow.
We have feral
Feral
chickens.
chickens?
They do in Hawaii, they just run all
Oh,
over.
yeah. I was thinking Hawaii, Jamaica.
Yeah,
Yeah, places like that.
right.
You wake up in the morning or they're crowing all times of night.
Yeah.
Over
Right,
there, the
usually
roosters.
3:30.
Now, a lot of people will keep a rooster around as a guardian
Right.
of them.
Mhm.
Not necessarily they're planning on breeding baby little chicks or anything like that, but they are a guardian.
Right, but Town of Colony has a nice list of. Of restrictions for raising chickens. Town of Ithaca is a little less restrictive and right away they say no rooster and. You have to have, a decent. Coop and it's gotta have. Feeding containers,
I don't think there is anything that is totally rodent free.
What?
I don't know of anything that's totally rodent free.
Well, if you got a big metal barrel. Something's gotta, the rodents are bad up there now too, I mean, it's. We're trying to prevent a future rogue farmer from thinking they could just set up a goat farm. In a neighborhood.
I think that's where the definition of farm comes.
Well, and it's the last, right, and we don't. The last sentence of the NR district says agriculture is allowed in this use. In this district, and I don't see a definition of agriculture in our ordinances. You have farm operations. Then you have
Mhm.
agriculture related. Things, but there's nothing that said
Agriculture is allowed in all of our districts in the town, pretty much.
even the village.
Well, the village,
The village has its own set of rules
Two
and laws.
villages have their own zoning.
but they allow chickens in the village of Dragon.
And the village of Freeville,
Yeah.
no ducks. But at least in Freeville, I know.
I don't know about Dragon, but I know the village of Dragon, they have chickens, they have an ordinance for
Mhm.
chickens.
But does it have roosters?
I
I
don't,
don't think so,
The
not in the
town of
village.
Michigan does not allow roosters.
Think I would, I guess so.
I'm just saying, I'm looking around at other ordinances that we can steal. This, yeah. And, just doing a little research, because I'm not a farmer. It does say that you should have adequate pastures for X number of.
Well, there's a different
X
reason
number.
for livestock, a farm or where animals are the focus versus something we talked about. If you grow mushrooms, if you can put a log in there,
Mhm.
Right,
you can set it up in a garage and do
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
And that is a ag, I mean, you-
Ag enterprise.
right.
depending on what you're growing,
Mhm.
legal stuff.
Yeah, plus
But you still
agri-
could end up making a lot.
they don't have enough acres
10,000.
to have X number of goats or a beef cow or a horse, can you? I mean, they got a half an acre, if they give their horse a ton of feed or whatever he needs,
Right.
that's,
As long as they're well fed, you
you can't,
can't regulate how
how
much.
many acres somebody has or.
So you're in a well-established neighborhood and someone's gonna just put up a little stable with a cow right next to your property.
Yeah,
That's
I think,
okay.
That's.
Yeah,
I
fine.
summed it up on Beach Nut Terrace, had a cow for 20 years. On a small lot.
Yeah, the confinement part would keep them from getting on people's property.
Right.
Zoning thing. The zoning is the use part, that's not really the confinement thing is separate from zoning.
Right,
You can do the
yes.
confinement part without worrying about zoning.
right.
And then the only thing you would need is if you need a bigger fence for something that's not allowed in that zone for some reason, then. They would have to have variance for the fence.
Put a little bigger, higher fence up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the fence, but if you have someone who's like, I know someone,
They have a turkey that flies over the fence.
well, there's wild turkeys that fly too.
Right.
Well, kind of like, I mean, the turkey thing is like, I don't. The problem is like, these folks don't have any care about keeping their animals off of, I mean, my solution would be shoot them.
It's truly an animal welfare issue. I mean, that's where I'm,
And then we have some legal issues there going.
yeah,
Within 500 foot of a house, unless it, no,
Yeah.
then you get your permission. You have permission from everybody, when you can do it. You can put 150 foot for a bow though. So,
150 foot per wood. A
A
bow.
bow.
a bow,
The
A
map,
bow.
the purples and
we
they,
have the line,
Yeah,
most of them are just plopped in the middle of
yeah, we're right.
farmland anyway,
This is
so.
our, this is our neighborhood.
residential.
Yeah, like that one next to us and, I mean, they just put these 6 houses and call it neighborhood residential.
It's a patchwork. Yeah.
And then they're,
Yeah, well, it's basically subdivisions when you get neighborhood.
I don't know how many houses on Annie Lane, but there aren't very many of them.
Yeah, and the lots are typically smaller than rural residential,
Right.
so. in- Your street, your road is different, it's more. More like you think of a suburban neighborhood, so there's a couple ways, but there's only a couple of things there in the town. 'Cause it's that one, like Leisure Lane, the Meadow. Ellis, Highlands, Cinder Hill, along the road, not the stuff when you go on the side of the roads.
I mean, like Sunset Circle, Sunset West off of Pinckney.
Yeah, there's not a lot, like, the ones that basically look like the thing across the street here, there's
Mhm.
really not many of them around town. There's other places where, like even on Morris, the houses are. With the exception of a couple, I think they're pretty far apart from one another comparatively. I know at Hill there, because of Grizzle, like he had he had a whole farm there, but there's houses dotting everywhere, but everyone's got a lot of property. The Ocean Drive's the only one over there that's somewhat dense. That's that side street off.
Mhm.
Yeah, but again, right next
Right there,
to,
it's all surrounded by farmland.
right, so
Yeah,
they think they should be isolated from, they plot themselves in the middle of farmland and.
no, but I think what she's talking about is like the person who moves into one of those houses. And then goes, hey, I wanna suddenly be a farmer. I think that's the issue, it's not the person who, if someone really wants to have a farm, they're gonna look for some bigger plot of land.
Right.
Or if they even have a horse, they're probably gonna look for a bigger plot of land to put their. To give them some room,
So, but is,
that's what I think.
Right, but- is the problem that they want to have the farm, or is it the problem the way they care for their
I
animals?
think that's the problem.
It's,
Because the animals,
The
are-
latter.
they're probably not farm animals, they're really companion animals.
Yeah, so I think that's the problem.
They may call it a farm, but they're not.
They call it-
they're really not.
They're not making a living there, so it's really not about the
Well,
farm.
whether they're
Yeah, so
making,
they're trying to
I mean-
invoke the.
Right to farm.
Right to farm,
Yeah.
but it's Nathan for right to farm.
No.
no,
No.
there is.
For New York State. So,
No.
No, it depends on what you're farming. You can grow asparagus on a really small
Yeah,
plot of land to be a farmer. You can make money doing it too.
yeah,
Or bees.
yeah, bees, you can have.
but the right to farm really started from the encroachment of non-farms to that farm and protects the existing farm. This is where we had an existing neighborhood and now a farm moves in and is affecting the rest of the neighborhood. Because the animal welfare.
What goes around comes around.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is truly animal welfare, the goats just. Yeah. And the thing is, as Jason pointed out, they don't really care. The goats get out and their dogs get out and they're not watching their animals ever. They're really not.
Well, with the dogs, you could be calling the dog.
Well, we've tried that and we've had some pushback a lot because she won't come out unless it's been 15 minutes.
Well,
Of the
that's what-
dogs
that's what
barking
it-
and all that.
Requires you could report it too, though. All you literally gotta do is pop up, like I gave her a recorder of mine. To set up for time, because you can record for like 8 hours at a clip, and that's really easy to figure out when that's happening.
We sent her one and she didn't think it qualified.
A recording,
We had the dog and we were. I mean, we can't even move in our house sometimes when the dogs are outside. They'll just start barking.
but are they?
If we go out in our
Are they in their
backyard,
inside their fence?
they're inside their phone. But if we go out in the backyard and they start barking. I could turn the record on, but that's pretty much any time they're outside.
Well, I've experienced something like that in my day, and it can be irritating. Dog barking.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the neighbor's not approachable. He's been threatening and so we don't wanna discuss anything with him, and he runs away if you try anyways.
Has anyone from the town spoken to this?
Multiple times,
From the town, yes.
all sorts of officers and everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, pretty much everyone knows.
Brings us back why we need a law.
Yeah,
Do something.
exactly.
Went around the great big circle here.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
Confinement,
But they don't-
It's animal welfare confinement,
well, we're not dealing with welfare, we're confinement.
confinement.
Right.
Confinement's
Follow
clear.
on the laws that we have now, though. They don't enforce the stormwater laws. I mean, there's all kinds of laws that they're just. That aren't being enforced, so why make another law that they're not gonna enforce?
I could see that. I also hear the judges are very lax on giving out fines, so there's no consequences for people to do
To that, we.
the right thing, right? But
Yeah,
when
you
you
can
do,
target that.
you have to vote in judges that are willing to.
Well, yeah, that's the only way to deal with that is get a different judge.
Yeah.
Well, the colony law that we originally looked at to come up with a template for this was, penalty was 15 days in jail, was it?
Something like that.
Yeah, that's a little excessive to me, but they must have had a real issue there.
Believe it or not, a speeding ticket, you go to jail.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yes,
In my mind, so it never, it's one of those things that never happens
right,
until it needs to happen,
right.
and which is almost never.
And it's really the animal confinement and. And not repeat, for the repeat offenders. If somebody's cow breaks out, it's a once in a while thing,
Yeah.
no one's gonna call the
Things
town
happen.
sheriff.
Yeah.
But if the goats are on my property again and again and again, I'm gonna call.
Well, if someone has the proper fencing up and something to break out, well, that's just a thing that happens. But
That's
if
just.
That is-
true.
Yeah, but if they
No,
don't,
we're good
if they
at
don't
that.
have the proper stuff up in the first place. Right. That's different.
How many goats do they have?
It's hard to tell, I think they're raising the baby goats for meat. So there's probably at least 5 kids over there now and at least 1 adult. Pair and maybe another mother, I can't tell. There's just a lot. And there's a pig. And there's 3 dogs. And there's rabbits and a turkey. And a coop full of I don't know how many chickens. And
The rabbits are probably quiet.
the rabbits are quiet, yeah. And this is on less than 2 acres, all that stuff. Is less than 2 acres, that's why we're worried about the animal welfare, but if you're telling me. We can't do anything about animal welfare, we called twice when the pig was attacked by the
It's animal
dogs.
welfare, then this is, I think it's a county enforcement, it's not a town.
When we called Joe,
I mean, it would probably be DEC. Because they have these, the DEC police.
Mhm.
Like they're the ones that, they go out, I mean, they are people feeding deer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the pig has no right ear anymore, it was. Bit off by the dogs and it's half blind because the dogs attacked her eyes, so. I've called and nothing's happened, so. If they care that little about the pig, the other animals are at risk. And so if we can, I mean, confinement is one thing. At least they'll stay out of the neighborhood, but they shouldn't be there in the neighborhood to begin with. It's just not on the plan. Unless he goes and clear cuts his 2 acres of woods, but I can't see him doing that.
Well, there is this process of silvopasture, graze cows in the woods, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's up to us to tell anybody how many acres they have to have per whatever their animal is.
Right.
Right.
You can deal with the confinement, but
if they're not being fed, if they're
that,
in watered properly, then there's.
That's where animal welfare.
Sure.
That's
DEC,
SPCA.
that's what.
SPCA, Ag and Markets,
Mhm.
which is.
Yeah.
And New York State Police.
So does somebody have to call and make a complaint, or is there
Yeah.
a yearly review of a farm, or?
You know, make it-
No.
You'd have to make a complaint,
Yeah.
SPCA or somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, like your neighbors, like if they see things, they can also make complaints too.
Sure.
Like, but they, like, I know one of them is an attorney, like, he knows the whole process.
Right.
How to be, to make a complaint to an officer, she should know.
Mhm.
She probably know.
You're talking about Amy or Laura?
No. It's, Angelica. She lives on Deer,
Oh, I don't know, Angelica.
I think she lives on Deer,
She-
but I know there was. I
Oh, she's moved. She sold her house. The lawyers used to live in the house with the pond. They left about 8 years ago, I think.
That's different.
Oh,
That's someone- Making the phone go busy. But the point is, like, they have to make, they all would make it, it's called supporting deposition. It's one document, if someone's not willing to do that. Troopers and whatever aren't gonna do anything. Because they have nothing to go with, like, they're not personally witnessing something.
right.
So someone who personally witnesses what goes on, is one who does that, like even your audio recording, you can use it because you made the recording.
Yes.
But you have to say, I made this recording,
Right.
that's what your deposition's gonna say. Setting up a camera and pointing it this way. And then, you're presenting it to wherever, but you verify the thing that you're given to. That's how it can be used. So. Did you rather have a copy of that stuff, or did you? keep it?
Yeah. She does.
This law is focused on confinement, not on welfare.
it's just
And that would
better.
mean, so. How often, how many times a month is there an unconfined animal?
It could be every day, every other day, but now that they've been notified and they tried to apply for a variance for their too tall of a fence. They're behaving themselves, so the goats haven't come out. In maybe a week. But the dogs were out. The dogs got loose yesterday. I mean, you just never know. Because they are so irresponsible.
And the neighbors are documenting these
Yeah,
escapes?
yeah, this has been ongoing for over a year.
How did you do it with photographs?
It's been like
I've sent in
it's been
photographs.
7 years for us that live right next to me. Yeah, I've got 7 years worth of videos
Good.
and pictures and everything, and I didn't do well with the first Jason, who was the dog control person, and I'm not doing well with Retta, and I didn't do well with Joe, so I had nowhere else to go. So we thought Jason found the animal containment, maybe that would at least curb the animals from roaming. And make the owners accountable for their animals, but I have no idea whether they're getting proper food and water. I can't. I don't want this to be part of my life, but it is.
And there's certainly a very strong dangerous dog law too.
Mhm.
They had a pit bull mix, which we have not seen in a while, so I don't know if they were smart enough to get rid of it or not. Cause I have children, I have grandchildren that visit occasionally, and we have a neighbor across the street that has young children, and down the street. So, yeah, the dog laws are very detailed. But
Yeah, we have pretty good
But-
dog laws.
but
very much.
livestock is nothing, pretty much.
We were gonna just take that, whatever comes out of this out, not until like January, that would work. It's only like after the phase one stuff that has come for the zoning, is coming to the town board in maybe December. And after that, we can, the confinement thing, then it's not zoning.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
this is not zoning. yeah,
ask
it's-
why zoning and the planning board,
Yeah, why this was in with ZAG to begin with?
I guess.
Well, the only part that would be the farm definition.
Yeah, there was a definition
Right.
for
I think
farm.
that would be the part that should go into that. Just to figure it out.
We spent like 5 years. I let my notes forget how we really did.
5 or 10?
Well, yeah, somewhere in between there. And I can't. I don't know who we came up with, but.
Yeah.
We declare ourselves done with that issue.
Well, we can find the notes. Then
Around and around and around and around we went.
Do you remember how we finally?
I know there was a lot of
For defining a farm,
back and forth between this committee and even
Extension.
extension.
Extension and several different extension staffers.
Yeah.
Chased them all away, they all quit.
but it may not be necessary.
We aged them out rather
to
quickly.
Define confinement without defining the farm.
Yeah, true, absolutely.
Right.
So I thought
Mhm.
last time we made a lot of tracks, but apparently it never went anywhere, so.
So who could fall through the cracks? Whose responsibility is it to edit the document? Is it the committee? Is it Allison? Is it someone else?
Well, I handed it off to the attorney, so I don't know why you don't have the ones that had the edits.
None of it,
Well, we haven't had
Because Ray, I mean, planning, I asked them to handle it, to look at it with the town lawyer. And then. So I'll have to find out. Because editing the document is not.
We reworded it quite a bit last month.
yeah,
And then we said,
we said we wish. Allison was
Austin
here.
said, yeah, that let's pass it by you. You've got a legal mind and
And
I said,
letters behind your name that you could make it sound more lawyerish than what we could.
I want to get less lawyer. Lawyers people. I mean, I can take care of it. It's just last time I was out, it shows.
Mhm.
So,
Fun.
yeah. I think it's coming back too, so.
Yeah,
It only comes with stress, doesn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. You don't get any shots.
Not before I got shingles.
oh, we'll get so far off topic.
Yes.
Anyway, I can take care of it. But I had actually asked Ray to. That's what they do, but anyway, I'll take care of it. The way we have some time, we're not gonna take, get into it until January.
Mhm.
So it's not gonna get into 2025,
26.
not get into 2026.
Yeah, we're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna. Schedule to do it. We don't, I mean, this month it's on. It's for that.
The budget.
This month. It would, like, the earliest, like, you can introduce it even in November. I could see this one turn into two public hearing. So. So I would say January is probably. Better thing, especially if like, I wouldn't wanna lump it in with any of other zoning bits either, especially because of. The crypto data center bit, that's gonna be a fun game, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All kinds of rumblings about that.
Well, it's just like, no matter, it's just gonna be a lot of people wanting to say, take a comment on it regardless about it. So it's just, that's gonna be, that part's gonna be long. You're not gonna be doing this at the same time, it's just not a good idea.
So, do you anticipate a lot of, if with our changes and putting this into effect, negative feedback? I mean, is there more than 3 people out there that think it's cramping their style or?
You just don't know what travels along the road, when someone gets into the, whatever this rumor mill thing is, it gets turns out bullshit in this town. It'll get out there before anything actually comes out, and that's, you know. Cause there is some bullshit machine, usually spring that puts stuff through, about my ears on, I'm like, that's, where'd that come from? So. You know, you just never know, cause like some people, there are a lot of people that go get it, who have things that got packages.
That's fine.
You know, I know some of that peacocks, but they had a big, like literally a big bird cage that was like 30 feet tall. So like, it's, again, the issue is not with the people who know what they're doing, it's the ones who like come up from Manhattan and go, I like to have a goat. They don't realize they go and do all this stuff.
You can,
It's cute,
you can put a
and you have
padlock
to-
on there and the goat will watch you do the combination.
Yeah. Or they think like, you know, getting a bunch of like, you know, or they like Nancy's sheep and they go, I want a couple, so I don't have to mow the lawn, and then they forget you gotta fence them in. You know, that kind of thing. It's just, those are the ones I think are the issues, and I mean, the few things, like if your neighbors, I know them because. The woman knows her lawyer, family court, that's why I can't really get involved. Like I know, it's like some stuff you're talking about when we're meeting, is like, I can't even comment on, so.
Yeah.
So I'm like.
And they have 5 children in their house.
We can't deal with that
You
either.
know,
No, but some of the stuff she was telling me
Like a
about, what she thought was
rooster.
going on, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like I can't, like,
No,
'cause
that's fine.
if I got yang, like, they're not out of high school yet, so.
Right.
Electrified net fence confines children too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's a whole lot of things that combine. But. It's just.
There are a lot of things we've all tried.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
tried it.
we haven't gotten to the trash and the property disruption.
But trash and stuff is also, like, it's property maintenance code, which Ray has to get those guys. to
Yeah.
actually, you know,
Yeah.
enforce them, and then with the hope the court can do something,
Right.
or will do something. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys looking at this. Come January, maybe we can get the right wording in. You're gonna send their comments on.
Yeah, I'll
Clean
check
up.
what was already worked on, I'll put it together.
But what you're saying is not gonna be limited. It's gonna be limited and not really affect zoning.
Well, the confinement part will affect zoning, the zoning part is about. What do you wanna allow within, it sounds like just neighborhood residential.
Right.
That would be, that's. Not, like the uses, I don't think the phase 1 stuff's dealing with uses, most of the things, mostly geared towards. Making it easier to build more housing.
Right.
So, these other things will come later.
Is this area we're talking about in an ag district? No, okay.
No,
Right next
It's
to
not next to.
Okay.
Yeah.
borders up. Yeah, but it's not in.
Yeah, so then we get those protections.
Do they separate out? Okay, they separate them all out then? All these little purple blobs are separated out?
Well, I don't know if all the purple blobs are.
No.
are-
I don't think they are.
Sometimes there's some of them.
Some of them are contiguously.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, I'd have to overlay an ag district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where they.
That's just
Are there 2 ag districts in,
in the county.
yeah,
Yeah, There's the one this side of Cuba Lake, and then there's the one.
Right.
It looks like we're surrounded by a conservation district. My thing is, let's make this is. Whatever that means.
Is that mostly state land and Cornell land, is that?
Could be Cornell
I think a
land.
lot of that's Cornell.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
major,
Not talking about Pleasanton. so.
It's Mount Pleasant.
I was just looking at the Lake Green more.
So the green, like the exact, you know,
Nature.
so like if you're talking about your neighborhood.
Mhm.
That's this, so that your
Right.
is here, the ag district is over. in That exact
Oh,
thing.
okay.
But actually on the other side of them,
Yeah, it's on.
they're not gonna ever be able to, unless they decide to buy it, I think that's Glen Swans.
Yeah, that's going Swans property. But in the NR district, it has a P for agricultural use, and the P says. Means the use is allowed as of right, but in many cases requires a site plan review. So if somebody's gonna come in and start building a farm, you guys wouldn't know about it. It's just gonna show up and then someone's gonna slap them and say, well, you should have asked somebody first. That never happened. And the right to farm laws tells the neighbors, oh, by the way, you're buying a house in this property, near this
Mhm.
farm, it might stink, they're gonna put manure on the pastures, whatever. Great, I like farms, I don't mind it, right? But it's the reverse. We were in a peaceful, tranquil neighborhood and these guys targeted that lot. To create a goat farm, which really don't belong there, cause they barely have 2 acres of arable. Land, less their house. The footprint of their house and multiple buildings he's put up, it's. And the confinement part, has been a nightmare and the animal welfare, like the pig, it's. There's no laws really protecting. Some of those animal welfare things per se, I mean. Because if the dogs attack the pig, it's not the owners that attack the pig. And the law clearly talks about if you kill or harm your animals. A lawyer would say, no, the dog did it, not my client.
You can kill your animals. can't you?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way they wind up, ending up on the Easter hymn.
Yeah,
Um,
well, sure, yeah, you could, but you should do it humanely,
correct.
right?
And that's where the humane laws come into effect.
Right,
Um,
and if they're selling goat meat, I don't know who's processing that meat for them, I assume he's smart enough to have somebody else butcher it. But. I don't know. I really
Yeah,
don't.
but that's not,
know.
the town wouldn't be involved in that anyway.
Right.
Or we could be involved in the confinement.
Right.
and if you wanted
Dog
to,
park.
And the dog thing.
if the animal he sells the animal to somebody and part of their religious ritual is that they're gonna be processing it themselves.
Yeah.
They will be doing it there,
Yeah.
they come in with their knife and
They do
the live
it.
animal and they do it themselves.
Brian McGee used to sell deep that way to the Muslims.
Yep.
They would come right to the farm and butcher them.
Start them right there.
I know.
Never.
Oh, I'm glad I haven't seen that yet in my residential neighborhood. Without a farm. That's part of being on a farm, but this really isn't a farm. He even said in his variance application, we are not a farm. So are you a farm or not? But you hold the right to farm law, so
Well,
I think he wants to stay under the radar, so. He's not. being gonna be scrutinized as if he was a farm, but he still wants to do farming things.
All right,
Jason, did you say you and your staff can do the edits on this?
I'll just take care of it.
Really?
Yeah. It's not that.
Then you send it back to us and we can see.
Yeah.
if it's-
I'll take care of it.
appreciate that.
Yes,
Yeah, because somehow it got sent out to the planning.
Well, yeah, I gave it to Ray because they wanted to resend to them, but then to the attorney and I didn't.
It got sent out to them because Craig Anderson called me up and he's like, do you know anything about this? Were you at that meeting? And I said, yeah. Said, what are these? He started reading off the parts. I said, well, they crossed all that stuff out.
Yeah,
He said, not in what we got.
yeah, that means Ray didn't. Take what you did and then send it along,
Yeah.
so.
He said, well, I didn't think they would go for some of that,
Right.
the jail time.
that's the only thing we struck out though, right?
No, that's not the only thing we struck out.
Struck quite a bit out.
We had
Well, I mean,
a
the
lot
thing
of-
is, it depends on who you want to enforce this stuff to, like, so if you wanted
That
to.
was what we.
So here's the thing, is like, if you
Yeah.
want something to be enforced. As a civil fine, you're not gonna have jail time.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be enforced as a criminal statute, might have that. I mean, typically you'd set it up so it's like a violation level offense, so that's where.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a violation has 15 days max. So that's probably what they wrote it up as, just to make it a violation instead of a misdemeanor, because in New York, it's the tag with misdemeanor, there is no expungement, no matter what belief you've ever heard. Over internet or over nothing, there's no expungement in New York.
It's all done.
It's all
At all. You have to get a governor pardon.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, I'm,
So like people who get a misdemeanor for driving without a license. It's on your permanent record.
Forever.
That was. Unless you get a pardon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, New York's not as liberal as y'all think it is.
not in that part.
No, it's very, very ass backwards.
Yeah.
I even got my dog license the other day.
Some places.
Felony.
You'd be perf walked, huh?
Yes.
You might, yeah. Some towns, you might be perp walk.
Totally off the subject, but can find that you brought up dogs and you have, I guess, a new dog warden. Whatever does the dog census, and I guess in previous years, whoever was. We have never, nobody's ever come and said, do you have a dog? But do they just go to people who license their dog? I mean, what?
No, they're supposed to do it, they go by addresses, they do an enumeration. so
Have
they'll go-
never, I'm gonna say in 25 years.
Yeah, this was the first time they came.
They go to a farm and say, how many dogs are running around here?
Yeah.
It's a good thing they don't call cats, but
Cats, we don't.
Got a license on.
no, that would be a problem.
No.
But, so I'm wondering, what are you paying these people for? Because they're not doing their job.
When they do the enumeration. A lot of times, people hear about it and they come in and license their own licensed dogs.
So is that just,
So like if someone came in on a license, they're not gonna go to that address.
well, we haven't come in and gotten a license because we don't have any dogs, but they've never checked.
We're not, I buy it, and don't see any, like, they don't see any signs of dogs, they're not about to spend their team going on every, like, they're not gonna knock on everybody's door.
Oh, they don't really,
We're not ice.
Yeah.
okay, I just wondered.
How you manage to stay secluded all this time? Yeah, you're running that puppy mill there out back, yeah.
So it's sort of, you can usually tell. The thing is, most of the time, the list of where they gotta go is already reduced, because we advertise for doing dog enumeration. If you come in, and get it on sale.
Yeah,
you
won't get fined.
If you,
I just figured there.
And they have this Air Force of drones too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the other rumor mill. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I said, like, if I was gonna get drones, we're getting Predator drones, so.
There you go.
We're not getting these little dinky things, we're getting some that circle.
Some they really go, and really do a job.
You know?
Spray bottle for cats on the drone.
No, just like, that's what happens, like, so you, if, like, say a whole street license their dogs, they're not gonna go down that.
Mm,
So, cause Rich and like before, Jason, like, so Red is the new one, Jason, Leonard took over when his dad and Delma
Mhm.
retired. I think his first couple of years were okay, and then they weren't. I don't remember if he did an enumeration, I think it's possible.
It
The
didn't get
last
finished.
year
It
that,
didn't get finished.
yeah, that's all we know since the COVID one.
She came back on my door.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I, but when.
Been a long time since I've seen
Yeah,
it.
so
Dog
last
around.
year was the first one we did since COVID.
They never.
They only happen every couple of years, like every couple of years, or 5 years or something, we don't do them every year. So,
I just thought it was weird that they don't.
Well, we've got 12 dogs and we only licensed one, so they,
well, they all look alike though.
Yeah, I was saying, they're all named Bud.
Right. They all look alike, they're all look alike. And they're really quiet.
They're really quiet.
Best dogs, so.
Okay.
She mostly is called out, when there's like strays, and sheriff goes, to do an arrest, and there's a dog and whatever. That kind of stuff.
I don't suppose you're up on law enforcement activities in the town, are you? My house,
Depends.
half a mile off the road at times today, there was 6 sheriff's vehicles there and a couple unmarked stuff, and before I came here tonight, I drove up by there and there's still, I don't know how many vehicles in the driveway, a couple along the road. There's lights outside around the house in different places.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's when I drove at 13, there was an accident.
No, this-
Shops, there was a trooper going on the way there, and
started maybe 10-15 this morning, I saw a couple,
they're still.
and they're still there tonight when I came.
yeah.
There, yeah, I don't know how many
Must be
vehicles.
something serious.
There's one.
Glad I'm not on cap.
Yeah.
There's nobody knows what's going on, that, I don't know, but they're
What road is this?
Fall Creek Road.
Oh.
I don't know, I was curious, so I drove up by tonight and lights all over the place. 2 cars along the road, I can say if they were unmarked law enforcement or what they were, and
Maybe
a bunch
there's
of
a
stuff up in the driveway and.
meth lab there, they raided.
Would that take all
Start a
day?
rumor. Start a rumor, I don't
I don't know. Ugh.
If it were, you'd see bomb equipment if they were,
Yeah, they'd be.
know. Not sure.
because usually. If it's a big, if you want a Breaking Bad style one, they would have bomb equipment. If it were a normal weaker, they put it in a backpack, so.
A lot of cops there all day long.
Orange trailer and they have everything. All of it, like you.
Yeah.
You'd also, anyone who lived on the road would know if that was going on, because people come in and out, you can't miss it when they've been. When they're not in a proper lab environment, they look a certain way when they come out of it, because the stuff is extremely toxic,
Oof, yeah.
like they have, you'll see lesions on their faces.
Real bad case of shingles.
There's
Oh, yeah.
some places out in the area where people are kind of shady looking, I don't really even know who lives there.
Maybe it's an illegal data center that shouldn't have been established yet. An illegal data center.
That's one of those in Blood Freeville.
Was it?
Yeah, the fire department told me there's a building in there, those guys doing crypto for a while, and I think there was a house, I think it was a fire a few years ago, he just rebuilt it,
Well,
but it's in the village, so.
You don't have any
I'm not-
control over it.
Yeah, and it's not a real data set, I mean, when people talk about data centers, they really mean these massive. Like Knickerbocker sized building things that are. like, you know it, it's not like a greenhouse size,
Mm.
they're way bigger. Like they're putting them all over northern Virginia. So,
So you saw the stuff going on with your bus route or something?
Not my route, but for the 5 o'clock route, we divide the
Oh,
district up into 4 quarters. And everybody was arguing about who got to go that towards McLean tonight. So
they can see what was going on.
so they can see what was going on.
I don't know. I drove, saw it this morning, then customers gone off the road, so of course I had to drive up there again.
well, I
I
gotta
don't-
drive up there and see if it's.
See. Was fine.
I gotta drive up, it's curious.
So on the North Road, turn right and it's the third place on the left. It sits up on a little knob. It's a fairly new place. I don't know, 20 years old or so. Nice little house, quiet. Nothing out of
Not
place.
quiet today.
Oh.
It's always the quiet ones.
When they were first talking about it, we know that the people in the two houses this side of it, and like. People couldn't tell my sister, you know, when you go out to cops, you think somebody was killed or something, it's like, oh no, it's like. It wasn't either of those guys, so.
There's no ambulance or anything.
No, yeah. Thought I could have found out something.
Yeah,
Oh,
Connected with.
Yeah, connections.
so it's not as far up as the mole.
No, no,
Mm-mm.
go out North Road. Turn right, well, there's one house right straight across, but then it'd be the second one on the left. And then look up the name. Tracy Keem or something like that was the owner, but. It was five.
Cause the house is set back off.
Yeah, sits up,
I'm just looking at the map.
I don't know. Driving us crazy.
We have one driver whose husband works at the county jail. And so she was asking him and he said, I don't have any new arrivals. I don't know.
Yeah, let's see, you can look up mole patrol.
There's ways of learning.
I don't know, but that was, they spent the entire day there, we could still be there for all I know.
Yeah, hopefully it's not something really bad.
I drove by there, I didn't even notice.
Oh, really? No, there's. You must have, well, there was 2 cars on the road, but then the driveway was full, the lights all over the place. And 5:45, I can't.
But they do have a shed way in the back.
Crypto
6:45.
or
Would be Buffalo Bill's lair.
I don't know, but it was,
Little she shed back there.
Well,
Man.
no, what movie I'm talking.
Oh,
You-
well, I was hoping that the guy that lives next door would stop. Oh, no, he probably wouldn't know either, but. You're big.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not- Rick probably.
if we're all done talking anything to do with ag, you can probably, you know, pull the plug out.
Yeah.
Long ago, we got way off topic a while back.
Yeah, no, no,
so
no
you do
rivals.
have.
Good deal.
um,
Yeah.
You have